All right, it is the new year, and that means a new installment of The Drop. Happy 2024, brother.
Yeah, man. Happy 2024.
Glad you made it
it's good.
back to Houston.
Yeah, made it to Chicago and back to Houston. Trains, planes, and automobiles.
Jesus.
So,
It'd take a half an hour just to explain what he went through.
And I'm only like half done.
All right, tell everybody what we're doing, because we're breaking with tradition here.
So I think we did a little bit of this last year. We're gonna kind of do what we do best and talk about things that we really like.
That we like.
A lot of times we talk about. We almost always talk about things we like. We rarely like. We kind of just leave the stuff we don't really have nice things to say about by the wayside. Occasionally we'll pick something to skewer, but that's really not us. So we usually pick things that we like. So for this is our stuff we liked in 2023: concerts, records. So we're gonna kick it off talking about records. You want to go first?
Sure. Hand me something.
Oh, you know what? Let's talk about some events.
All right, do it.
Let's talk about some events. This weekend, Cactus Music, free in-store events. We're going to kick it off 1 p.m. on Saturday with my good friends, DJ Hello Space Boy and DJ Scary Monster. They're doing a Bowie 77th birthday DJ session here in the Record Ranch, and watch our socials. We're going to have other fun stuff going on too. There's prizes, things like that. And this is a big warm-up to their show at Grand Prize. It's going to be on Sunday on his actual birthday at 7 p.m., which is always like super fun at capacity. I've known these guys for years. They've been doing a Bowie birthday party since before he passed. And these guys bring all kinds of kooky mashups, all kinds of weird tracks you never heard of, alternate versions, and just spin them. It's going to be a good vibe.
So even if you're a casual David Bowie fan, there's something here for you.
And you know what? It's a great time to just like get out and see fellow music fans and hang out and have a cold, refreshing St. Arnold for free. And then right on the back of that, we have our friend Marshall Falcon. He has a brand new record, which is terrific. He's going to play at 3 p.m. on the Cactus stage. And you're thinking, Marshall Falcon, who's that? Why, that Marshall Falcon was in 30 Foot Fall, Phoenix, Texas, I-45. I mean, he's been in a bunch of semi-legendary, great Houston acts,
bands.
And now he's got like this rockin' Latino Gulf Coast soul thing, and it's terrific. The record's really good, and we're happy to have. He's a terrific guy. We're glad to have him on the rocking the stage. And this is going to kick off.
I have to come to that.
This is going to kick off in stores for us in 2024, of which there are going to be many more. Look for
big names,
announcements coming up,
big shows.
Always free, always complimentary St. Arnold beverages,
frosty cold bevs.
Yeah. Unless it's a children's show or something.
I love it. I love it.
So let's talk about some of our favorite records from last year. You got one you want to kick it off with?
I see it right there. Hand me the big one. There it is. Right. Yeah. You got it.
I knew there's no doubt this was going to be on your list. There's no
All right.
doubt.
So yeah, if you've watched any of this, if you've watched us and paid any attention to our mad ramblings on here, you guys know that I'm a huge Phoebe Bridgers fan, and of course, Boy Genius. This would have been one of my favorite concerts of the year, live shows, but after the rain and lightning delays, and I was still rehabbing my leg, and I couldn't stand in that line out there for hours and hours and hours. And they only ended up playing, I think, like an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Canceled the opening band, Bartrice Strange, who I really wanted to see.
I know, you're a big fan.
And so my daughter was like, Dad, let's just leave. So I didn't get any money back for my tickets, and we got it in Uber. But I heard it was a great show. Anyway, Boy Genius, here is the album, the record, as they are calling it. Lucy Dacus, Julianne Baker, of course, Phoebe Bridgers. I can't tell you anything that hasn't already been said or written about this. Yeah. If you don't know what it is, give it a listen on your favorite streaming service, and then support your artist by actually buying a copy.
So you know what's funny about that record is it's so obviously one of the greatest records of the year that you're seeing all these best of lists come out, and it's not on there because it's too obvious for people to. It's
It's like I'm not going to pick that. Yeah, me, Captain Obvious. I'm going right with it because I just don't care. And if you're not familiar, lyrically, they have this kind of magic where they can just really take a poke at things in the best, most kind of cynical, still kind of winking at you kind of way,
Absolutely.
And it's just great stuff. And congratulations to these guys. They deserve all the success. I hope we see record number 2.
Yeah, and let's see a tour. Let's see a
one that I actually see.
Let's see another one. Yeah. Okay, my first pick is one of my favorite records of the year. This is the 12th studio album from The Damned. So The Damned have been around for almost
millennia,
almost 50 years. They were the first UK punk band to release a single, release an album, tour America. They're really punk rock royalty, beloved by me. But the thing that's kind of odd about them is they've only made 12 albums in that entire stretch of time, and almost all those records are pretty great. There's a couple of and this one is right up there. I think it's a terrific original. You got Paul Gray, who is a long-standing member of the band, and then of course Dave Adrian, the vocalist. I think one of the great rock vocalists ever, and Captain Sensible on guitar. And again, I hope I get to see a tour. This if you're a fan, this record's great. And more importantly, if you're not all that familiar with and you haven't done all your homework, you'll still probably get it from this record. It's that good.
Yeah, this is definitely worth your time. It's on what? Limited edition heavyweight transparent edition with Darkadelic slip mat. Ooh.
Yeah.
There you go.
The Damn Darkadelic.
Very good.
Grab it. Grab it.
Good call.
All right.
The viewers are already calling. They want to know if it's in stock. Yes, we've got a copy. We should just take phone calls. We should take calls live.
Just
give out the phone. Yeah, just give out the phone number.
Yeah, that's next season. We have a tech upgrade.
Once the new budget goes through and I get my assistant. All right, so I'm next. Let's go right here. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
We need a floor director. All right, so this is
full service here.
This is the new album from Crosses. And if you're not familiar, Chino Moreno, of course, of Deftones, Sean Lopez from Far, I believe is his project. So the cool thing about this record, Good Night, God Bless, I Love You, Delete. Moreno, no surprise to anyone, is a massive Cure fan. Robert Smith turns up in kind of a interesting. His vocal turns up on this in an interesting.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah. I made notes. Let's see, where are we? Sean Lopez, Roberts. Yeah, it's more. I don't know if it's a sample. I don't know what it is, but he did something for the project with them. But yes. Anyway, so the goth tag is put on this, and Moreno has said, well, it's really not that. It's more my dark kind of pop wave kind of thing. He didn't like the goth tag so much.
Yeah, that can work against you.
It can. It's hard to describe. It's definitely not Deftones, but it's really cool. It's really cool. It just kind of, I just these songs just kind of swam through my head. And I just like the vibe. I don't know what it is, and sometimes I just get like that with certain albums. The first album I thought was okay. I like this a lot better.
Sometimes a project needs a little
marinade.
They either fizzle out or they kind of grow and gel.
But there's lots of good stuff on here, man. And if you Girls Float, Boys Cry is the feature with Robert Smith.
I thought Boys Don't Cry.
LP's on it as well. I forgot that. Yeah, so contributes a track on here, but definitely check it out. Crosses. You have to type in Crosses band if you want to know something about them. If you just put these 3 T's in there, it's not going to get you anywhere.
It's hard. Yeah, hard to search. Hard to search them up on the interwebs.
That's a pick.
Excellent
For me.
All
Thank
right.
you.
I'm going to go. This is probably kind of obvious for Britpop people, but this is the new
good record.
Noel Gallagher, the High Flying Birds. This is Council Skies. This is his 4th record, and I think his best record to date. I think it's just really terrific, top to bottom. I like the whole thing. There he is sitting there in the roundabout, the projects there in the UK.
Council Estates.
He's an interesting guy. He kind of makes his records on his own, and then he's got this terrific touring band, and he uses some of their work, but I think he plays most everything himself. But this record has a real live feel to it. It's kind of orchestrated. He'd kind of taken an unexpected detour into more kind of electronic-y stuff, which was interesting. I liked it, but this record is really, really. If the solo record had kind of lost you, but you're an Oasis fan, this will bring you back. This is a terrific record.
Yeah, I think so. And what I love about it is great. It's the great Noel Gallagher guitar tone that if you're a guitar player that likes Noel Gallagher's guitar tone, it's on this record.
Yeah, it's big, right?
It's really good. Big. He goes with the 250 watt. Oh, he tells the story of somebody turned him on to these 50 watt high watts because he had some other different amps that he was very fond of and had since Oasis days. And that's my rig. But somebody turned him onto these, and he was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
And his classic 335.
There's something about the 50 watt. It's like not too powerful, but you can really put them at 11. But
and they sound different than 100 watt heads. I don't care who. Yeah,
yeah,
like the Marshall 50 sounds different than the Marshall 100.
Yeah.
Ask Tom Morello.
Yeah, just ask him. Bring him up. Let him know. Let him know about that.
Did you see the news? The Brad Wilk, the press release announcement, whatever. There will not be any more live. There'll never be another Rage Against the Machine performance. I think is basically what it boils down to. No touring, no live, or maybe he just said no touring, no live
records.
I don't know, but I was like, oh well, I was hoping to see that.
Yeah, that's
sorry,
and that's
I derailed the train.
Let's just say that's a lot of money to walk away.
That's a lot of money to walk away.
A lot of loot. Okay, Rubenator,
hit me.
What you think?
All right,
I knew this one was going to be on there too. Wait, right,
I am
justifiably.
transparent.
No, because we talk a lot about music even when we're not on the show.
Paramore. This is why. So I believe 5 years between their last effort. Obviously, COVID got in the way and kind of affected a lot of bands that way. But Haley in fine form. This is what I like about it is that there's it's still obviously the classic Paramore vibe that we love, but I think they kind of step out in a slightly different musical territory on a couple of songs, and it works very well for them. I really do like this band. I know they deleted their entire social media presence recently, and everybody's like, "Oh, what happened? Did the band break up? Is this just kind of, are they going to hit us with a live album? Right. Is it some sort of publicity stunt?" We don't actually know. I know that if you know anything about Haley, she is become kind of controversial. She's very open about her political stance. And I think that rubs some people the wrong way. Other people love her for it, for being that far out there. But on a musical standpoint, just one of my favorite rock, alternative, indie, I don't even know what you would call it anymore. Always quality from these guys.
And one of the great modern female from person in general, but certainly female in personalities. Like, I mean, I felt like she always gets it right.
Yeah, dominant presence on stage.
Okay, so for my next one, I don't have a prop because I can't find it. It's somewhere in the store.
Use your imagination.
But I'm gonna feed off your Paramore vibe, and I'm gonna talk about the Interrupters record, In the Wild.
I was just listening to it.
I kind of think it's cut from the same cloth.
You loved it the second it came out.
I love that record. And so there's a band I already liked. I liked their previous records. I've been listening. They had a live album. And during the pandemic, I think they kind of doubled down on what they're about because they're very much inspired by the two-tone ska stuff. That's pretty obvious,
right.
But yet they're like a California punk band or from Arizona or wherever they're from. Anyways, and so there's all that going on, but I always thought they wrote like great songs. But the whole
tight band too.
Super tight band, but the whole thing was they're an unusual band, right? Because it's Amy Interrupter and then the guitar player, and then his two younger twin brothers are the bass player.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like
I didn't know they were twins.
Family band. Yeah, it's kind of kooky. So, but then
like the Sales brothers.
Yeah, absolutely. So the pandemic, just doubled down, and it's their fourth album. It's their best album yet, easily, and lyrically. And I think people think about like ska music as being kind of a superficial art form, but man, they really dig deep on some serious issues, and it's just the record that can really elevate them to being a super great band. And not,
I bought it because you were raving about it and we talked about it. And I remember the first listen through, I was like, and then I didn't listen to it for a long time because I have it on CD, and I have to be, if I'm driving my wife's car most of the time, it's a new car, there's no CD player, so, but when I get in the old car, I'm like, and I just hit play to see what was in the CD player the other day, and that was in it, and I listened to the whole thing. I'm like, okay. Yeah. So, but it's a really good album. Very solid.
And looking forward to more from them because I think they've really kind of found their voice lyrically and sonically and everything, and songwriting just raised the bar. So let's see what they do next.
I'd like to see them live.
I would too. And they have not been here. I've been watching.
They did the whole summer festival thing last year. I know because a lot of the things that every time I popped up a YouTube channel for one of the weekend festivals, they were on it.
They're a festival band. All right.
Oh my goodness. Let's go right here.
All right.
All right. So this is Mammoth II from Wolf Van Halen, obviously, son of Eddie.
Wolfie.
And, you know, the first record was, I think, important because if you knew about him or you were kind of dialed into the Van Halen world already, you've already heard about how talented this young man is and all this original music he was working on, and obviously played bass in Van Halen. But once the record came out, it really stood on its own,
absolutely,
you know, merits.
It was different from what people expected.
It was different from what people expected. It was a solid rock record, start to finish. And I always like to point out that this isn't the golden era of rock anymore. Other genres rule the world. So I, being the old rock guy, I like to hear new music coming out in that vein. This one takes a step forward. So number 2, this is the second sophomore release I think I have on here.
Oh yeah.
And it's really good. And he definitely did play every single instrument on this, recorded every single thing, and then, worked with the producer and sound engineer to mix and all of that stuff. But it's a good record, man. Just put it on. If you have a party with like-minded friends that like their rock and roll kind of cranked up and with some good melodic stuff. I mean, a lot of people, it's like, oh, little leans Foo Fighter, leans this, but obviously he's a huge Dave Grohl fan. And
second record, there's a ton of growth. I feel like it's
exactly
less of like he's it makes you and how many sophomore efforts are really great. It's hard to do that. And it just speaks to what a wealth of material he has, and I'm looking forward to the third record. I mean, he's for real.
It's on exclusive canary yellow vinyl, so if that rings your bell,
this one's for the birds.
Come get it. Oh wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry. Okay. I'm going
Couldn't help yourself.
Little different direction here. This is Brad Mehldau, plays the Beatles. He is, if you don't know him, he's probably one of the 5 greatest living pianists in the world, certainly within the jazz world. He's cut Beatles tracks before, but this was recorded live in 2020 in Paris. And he just has so much fun playing with the melodies and like left hand, right hand. Like he'll keep like the bass notes like
then kind of stretch out on that,
and then stretch out on the melody, but not so much that it becomes abstraction. I really connected with this record this year, and I played it. It's one of those like. And then he sticks a David Bowie song at the end.
Sure, well, of course, makes perfect sense. So you get some good ones on here. I Am the Walrus. Your Mother Should Know. For No One. She Said. Maxwell Silver Hamlet. Oh, okay. I'd like to hear that. Golden Slumber is one of my favorite Beatles songs. Period.
I Am the Walrus is so weird. You think, okay, solo piano.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that middle
all that
breakdown?
The weirdness.
It is super cool.
And all those crazy, all that crazy like backward tape stuff that they were doing on that and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he emulates it. And let me just say that it's very approachable, accessible. You're obviously familiar with all these tunes. Give it a shot. It is a cool record.
Cool. I love that.
All right, you got one left in the pot here, Tom.
I do have one left. All right, so I was really happy when this came out, and Quinn can tell you the story of why it took so long for this to come out, because I know he knows the details better than I am. But the debut album, 1989's De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising, available in this incredible package. I don't own it, but I was lusting after it, and it's not quite in the budget for me now, but it's a 7-inch box set.
7-inch box set
and
with a 11-inch slip mat.
And this album was so crazy because the moment you heard it, you were like, what is that? I don't know anybody that didn't hear this and did not like it immediately. I don't care what kind of music you were into. So it just it's just special from the word go. And it still holds up today. You'll still hear DJs mixing in pieces of this. You'll hear this sampled everywhere. And it's lyrically, it sounded different than everything else that was happening in the, I guess, still early days of the whole rap hip hop movement compared to what it is and what we know now. But this is amazing. If you're a fan or a fan, man, this is a gift and a half. Very important album. and it took so long to come out because all sorts of trouble with the.
Well, there was three reasons.
Yeah.
Lawyers, lawyers, and lawyers.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, the three L's of the music industry.
L's, they're out there. You know, I always think of. I have a friend that when that record came out, and I think he was a rock guy too, and you know, rock guys, hip hop. Once we realized it had staying power, we were trying to kind of figure out what it is. What we didn't. And we, you know, some of it was we connected with, and some we didn't. But this record in particular, I think anybody that loves music, it's so creative.
Yeah.
And
jazzy.
And one of my friends was kind of, just kind of being dismissive of it, and the other friends said, "Man, it's like the Sgt. Pepper of rap." And I kind of think that that's true. It's
trippy,
like this piece, but it's also got like this peace, like
chill.
Great worldview, chill vibe to it in the middle of all this. And it's funny. There's a lot of humor. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
It's a really good album.
Okay, so for my last one,
yes,
I'm doing this like kooky. So I'm going to talk about two records that I think are joined at the hip, so to speak. So,
this is interesting.
So we'll talk about the original article is that the church released a new record this year, the Church Hypnagogic. There's really only one original member left. It's Stephen Kilbey, who, you know, arguably wrote the majority of the material, wrote all the lyrics. And sometimes when you get down to just one member of the band, it kind of is, you know, a shell of what happened before. And it's really just allows them to tour and make tour revenue and sell merch or whatever. But this record is one of their best records. It's really, really terrific. And it totally surprised me how good it was, because I was kind of soft on the previous records. So if you kind of haven't checked them out in a while, this record's I won't say it's a return to form, because it's really kind of different too. Terrific record from them. And so that is the original article. The band greatly influenced, I think, this band, the Beach Fossils. This is one of the best records of the year. It's dreamy, guitar, jangly pop thing from this guy who's really kind of a, bedroom studio guy from New York. And this record is just top to bottom, super, super fun to listen to. It's funny, this record, the Slow Dive record rightfully ended up on everybody's best of the year. We could have talked about that easily today.
Yep.
But this record kind of doesn't get the mentions, and I think it's every bit as good as that record. And if you like that, or if you like the Church and you want to revisit them,
recommended.
This Beach Fossils record this is their fourth record too. A lot of fourth records today.
Nice.
And
all right,
it's a good one.
Okay.
And those are the records we liked in 2023. We liked a lot of other stuff too, but we really like these.
Do we want to do concerts and then Vinyl Vault, or Vinyl Vault and finish with concerts?
Well, Ruben, what you think?
I don't know. You tell me.
Let's talk concerts. Okay. So we saw a lot of shows this year, maybe not as many we'd seen the previous years, just because there's not as much traffic through Houston as maybe in some other cities or post-pandemic, but we did see some great ones this year. I had trouble putting together a list of my favorite shows.
Throw it out there.
I would say I'm going to say my show that immediately came to mind. I saw Sierra Farrell, emerging bluegrass artist, at the Heights Theater in, I think, March, and it was like her record already kind of blew my mind, because it's bluegrassy, but it's going somewhere else. In its traditional country, like Loretta Lynn or something. She's got this terrific group of musicians, and at one point in the middle of the show, they did a set where it's just like the big microphone in the center with the two guys on either side of her singing and playing. And her next record's going to be huge, rising star on the rise, emerging artist. And I took my daughter, who had just seen Coal Miner's Daughter, and I'm like, you're going to dig this.
Right.
And it was just this great experience. It was as much about who I was with as what was happening on the stage.
Yeah, see, that's awesome.
But you're gonna, get ready. Sierra Farrell, 2024, man. When that new record drops, everybody's gonna be talking about. She is unbelievably talented, and I love that. Feel fortunate to see her at such a small venue. Right, it has such incredible sound.
Yeah, Heights Theater is a great place to see a show. And there's they have a sister location in Dallas, right? Isn't there? There's a Heights, it's called something else.
It started
the
there.
Something Else Theater. It's called something else,
but
it's supposed to be a great room as well. Yeah, if you can catch a show there, catch a show there. All right, shocking to no one, Paramore for me. It was an incredible show. I'd never seen them live. They're absolutely fantastic. And like I mentioned, Haley, just dominates the stage. Just this electric personality and nonstop. Band super tight. I mean, it's not like a band playing exactly note for note from the album, but it's close enough to that. But
you want them
with,
to have
with
fun,
a live
play with it a little
interpretation,
bit.
they did a great job of that. They were incredible, and the bill was nuts.
Oh yeah, you told me. This is a great story.
And I didn't know who was on the bill because the tickets came through almost at the last minute. And we sit down in the seats, the lights go down, and the Lindas come out. And I was like, what?
And we love the Lindas, do we not?
Oh, my God. It was ridiculous. All right, lights go up. We go get a beer, come back down. Lights go down. Foles. I had no idea who was on the bill. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Triple jackpot.
Triple jackpot, got all the 3 cherries across on the slot machine. It was perfect. So that's that's definitely probably my number 1 live show for the year.
I love that. And again, there's this experience that's adding to it where you kind of didn't know what to expect and it rang your bell twice. That's great.
What?
Love it. Love it.
All right, you're next.
My number 2 was, again, kind of a feel-good show. There's another factor there. The Buxton reunion show at the Continental Club was just such a good time. I mean, it was kind of transported me to reminded me what a terrific band they are and were. And it was just so vibey and fun. I saw so many people I hadn't seen in a long time. And the band brought, you think, oh, and these guys haven't played together in, I don't know, 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
What's it going to be like? And they were just terrific and as good as I remember them being. And it was awesome show. And they just, they put out their 10th anniversary of their first actual debut record, and which you can still get. And it's one to grab. It was a lot of fun.
Very good. Very good. Number 2 for me. Now I should have gone back and double checked just to make sure this wasn't the end of
I did that
22, but I'm pretty sure it was February of this past year. Metric.
That's this year.
At House of Blues. Yes, Metric at House of Blues. Again, incredibly powerful front woman. I'd never seen them live. I went with my dear friend Johnston Farrow, who is the biggest Metric fan on the planet. He's seen him a million times, has interviewed him and everything. He's writes for Culture Map, music guy for Culture Map, and they did not disappoint. I mean, from the new album to the first album, they just kind of picked all the right songs, some new stuff thrown in, and they were just absolutely captivating to watch. You didn't want to turn around and go to the bar. You didn't want to go to the bathroom. You didn't want to do anything.
I love that.
They just held you. And with oh my God, the band that reunited out of Dallas, Secret Machines.
Oh yeah,
opening. God, it was good.
I saw them back in the day.
And I didn't know they were on the bill again because I don't know anything. That's the problem. I should find more. I need to do more.
Good thing you showed up on time because at both shows. Because what would have been a drag is you got there and everybody tell you.
Look, man, I have a lot of negative qualities, but showing up late is not one of
them.
It
is not. He is very punctual. I will give him this.
Number 3.
Awesome. Okay, for me, last week after my travel debacle, I saw one of the most powerful performances I have ever seen by a recording artist.
Okay.
In my entire
50
years of seeing.
We're getting the rap from our producer, so we got 30
years of seeing
45 seconds.
At Patti Smith at the Salt Shed in Chicago. She booked 2 shows for Lenny Kay's 77th birthday and her 77th birthday. I absolutely couldn't. I have seen her 6 or 7 times. She is one of the greatest front persons in all of rock and roll.
And that was the show.
And it was off the cuff. It was cool. You would think it couldn't have been scripted any better than it was.
Love it.
Played for 2 hours. And I had to check the reviews the next day. I'm like, man, did I just witness the greatest thing ever? And the guy from the Chicago Tribune said, this is the kind of show, if you weren't there.
Yeah.
If you missed it, you're going to lie and say you did. And if you were there, you have bragging rights for the end of time.
All right, guys. In stores, come see them this weekend. You've got Bowie. You've got Marshall Falcon, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time. Free St. Arnold's beverages. And then we will see you next week with another episode of The Drop. Peace.